Joining us now, Brian McNally. He covers the Washington Capitals and the Washington Nationals for the Washington Examiner. And, Brian, actually, before we get to the Capitals, real fast, just because I keep seeing the replay over and over of, have you seen Bryce Harper, running into the outfield wall of the Dodger Stadium last night? It was a late game.
Just caught the replay, guys. That didn't see a ton of it because we were on deadline writing.
Yeah.
It was a late night, but, didn't really look good. I love Davey Johnson's quote, though.
What's that? He says he's going to be all right. His knee was bruised, and he got a cut on his neck. He had 8 stitches, I think, but he says he doesn't have a concussion, so he should be all right.
Yeah, Davey said he felt bad for the wall.
That's right. You do not want to be between Bryce Harper and whatever he is running.
Whatever he hits, that's right.
Yeah, all right.
No question.
Let's go back to the Verizon Center last night. What happened?
You know what? That'll be the question that'll kind of haunt the Caps for the whole off season. Honestly, that's sometimes you look for answers in those situations, and there just aren't any. I mean, they just didn't play well. It was the only game in the entire series where they just didn't have a good night.
Hold on.
A horrible time to do that.
Let me ask you though: was it that they played so badly, or that the goalie for the other side, Henrik Lundqvist
for the Rangers,
was he that good? Because apparently he was pretty good.
Henrik, definitely the last 3 games, Lundqvist was outstanding. He really was. I mean, when you don't score a goal for 120 minutes of hockey, and you've proven yourself a pretty good offensive team. I mean, that's you give the other team some credit there too. It's not just Lundqvist. The Rangers are very good positionally. They have very good defensemen. They don't take penalties. I know a lot of people were upset about that, but the Rangers didn't take penalties all season. They were, for whatever reason, probably because they're a skilled team, they were good at avoiding putting themselves in bad spots where they pulled the other team down. And obviously the Caps had the best power play in the NHL, so if they're not on the power play, that's a huge advantage for New York. And Henrik Lundqvist is one of the top. He's a Vezina Trophy finalist. He won the award last year as the league's best goalie. He's world class, and the Caps just weren't good enough. And I think what you saw is once the Rangers got up 2-0, 3-0, that's not a team you come back against.
Yeah.
They almost never blow leads. They're just that good defensively, and that kind of just took the wind. The last 30 minutes of that game is just the Caps knowing the inevitable and not really having the energy to fight back.
But Brian McNally is our guest, and we're talking about last night's Caps game. And what really struck me about last night's game was it was so out of character for the rest of the series. I mean, it was so tight and so close. Every game was either overtime or a 1-goal game. Everything was just fought really tight. Also, the home team, unlike most NHL series where the home ice advantage doesn't seem to be that important, in this series, the home team was undefeated. And then suddenly, here, Game 7 at home, it was a blowout. What happened? I mean, it just seems like the Capitals, the team that showed up on the ice last night, was not the same team.
Not the same team. No.
Can't disagree. They just and the thing is, when you go in the locker room and you ask that question, the players don't have answers. They really don't. There's no They
were complaining though about how many penalties they got versus the Rangers. Is there any validity to those complaints? Was it officiated in sort of a non-equal way?
Very veiled talk by the players about that the Rangers were allowed to play a certain way and to get away with things that they were not. I don't know how much to put into that and how much is just anger and frustration of someone whose season is over.
Yeah.
Sometimes players say things in the heat of the moment right after that maybe 6 weeks from now they'll look back and say, you know what, it was more on us than the referees. Certainly it was not called in the Caps' favor. I mean, even last night, I think they only had 2 power plays, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They just didn't draw penalties. They just weren't, for whatever reason, it didn't happen. I'm sure the players feel like the refereeing was tilted against them. There's maybe some validity to the way the series was called, but then again, like I said, the Rangers didn't take penalties all year, so there's no real reason that would change in the postseason.
Brian McNally, can I shift you really quickly since the Capitals are done? Let's look at the Nats real fast. They they had great promise going in. They just can't beat Atlanta, it seems. How are things looking for the season, and what do they need to do to right the ship to be able to really win that division like they were predicted to?
Yeah, I mean, they obviously need to get healthy, get everybody back in the lineup, and then going. I mean, Jason Worth is on the disabled list. They've been missing, they missed Ryan Zimmerman. There have been some.
And is Strasburg all right? I mean, there was some concern about his forearm.
What's up with that?
I think he seems to be okay. I mean, the problem with Strasburg is anytime he has any kind of even minor ache and pain, people are going to absolutely lose their mind. It was so devastating when he tore his elbow ligament a couple of years ago, and people were so excited. And when you do that, it's obviously a year process before you can come back. Nobody wants to go through that again, including Strasburg.
All right, Brian, we got to roll. Thanks for covering the Caps for us, and we'll look forward to talking to you again about as the Nats take the division.